Well, hello to you. This is Andy Davis, and this is a very special episode of the KBB Review podcast. Now, as I'm sure you know, the KBB show is fast approaching us at the start of March. It's the biggest UK show dedicated to all things kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms. So today, we'll be chatting to the exhibition's sales director, Jon Johnston. He'll be telling us why the show has never been more relevant and why it's a must-visit experience for anyone in this sector. And that's especially true as the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards 2024 is part of that experience on the Monday night. But first, yes, this very special episode is brought to you with the support of our good friends at KBB Birmingham 2024, Europe's prime hub for the kitchen, bedroom and bathroom industries. So get ready for the ultimate showcase of innovation held at the NEC Birmingham from March the 3rd to the 6th, featuring over 250 top European brands across 26 diverse categories, unveiling cutting-edge designs and the latest innovations. And with over 15,000 decision makers attending from residential, design, retail and contract sectors, it's the prime spot for networking, sourcing and business growth. You can expect renowned brands like Capel, Franca, Vitra, Aurora and many more to showcase everything from furniture to components, giving you a glimpse of the future in KBB world. You can meet key clients, engage with trendsetters and explore the newest launches and dive into live demonstrations and gain valuable insights that will drive your business forward. And it's not just about innovation, it's about sustainability too. The KBB Birmingham Better Stands initiative is reducing waste and promoting eco-friendly practices among exhibitors and the industry. And right in the heart of the show, you can join your peers in celebrating a decade of excellence at the 2024 KBB Innovation Awards in partnership with Blum. They've recognised the groundbreaking solutions in the KBB industry shaping the future. And I can proudly say I'm a judge of that. So I'm sure you'll want to be part of this whole revolutionary event, and you can register for free at kbb.co.uk. That's kbb.co.uk, and I'll see you there. So here is Jon Johnston from KBB. Hello, Jon. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Andy. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. It's actually cold up here in the loft today. It's chilly.
It is cold.
And I'm hoping that's a good sign that it's going to warm up by the time we hit the first week of March.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way now.
Exactly. Positive mental attitude. So look, Jon, we're going to talk about the KBB show today. We're fast approaching it. But I want to start with you because you've been there a very, very long time. You've been there as long as I've been here, which is a fantastically long time. So what's your history there?
I can't imagine I've been here any longer than you, but anyway, it has been a long time. I think 2011 I kicked off. So this is, I guess, my 13th year and my 6th KBB Birmingham. As you remember, we also did a London one years back. That's where I started in the London one and then moved over to Birmingham when it came to the Birmingham turn.
So we're counting it down in weeks and days now. Do you still get excited by it? Do you still get a bit of a buzz about it when the date's approaching? Because you're obviously talking about this date for 2 years when you're talking to all the exhibitors and everybody else. Yeah. What's your state of mind at this stage?
Do you know, I do get really excited because no 2 years are ever the same. And if you had a wish list or a crystal ball and you were able to say what would you be a perfect show, you'd kind of want all the exhibitors that you've had over the years. But of course, not everyone does the show, every year. There's always a bit of a turnaround of companies. So for me, it's always something new. It's something different. You've got a new lineup of companies. You've got your loyal base companies as well. So I think that's what makes it exciting. Is it's different. Every time it's different. The challenges around us in the industry is different to maybe 10 years ago when I did the first Birmingham show. So every time it's different.
And what's also interesting, I think, is, or the bit that people don't always appreciate, is the logistical aspect of putting on a big show like that. The planning that goes into getting all those people in that massive, great big room at once.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. I'm useless. I can't even plan a birthday party. So the team behind you selling the stands and you getting the people through the doors, it's really impressive.
It's huge. I mean, operations have to, work with all the contractors and they have to liaise with the exhibitors when they send their stand plans through for submission and approval. And it's a huge process. And sometimes, it unearths lots of little bits and pieces and problems which people don't really sort of think about. For example, there's a pillar on my stand, but the technical drawing didn't show such. So there are lots of different things that can happen along the route. And it is really weird how you stare at a floor plan with lots of grey spaces, and through that time where it changes, companies move, new ones come on board, and when some of these companies booked 2 years ago at the last show, they just have they have a vision that they want to be there, but they don't necessarily know exactly what that's going to look like. Of course, no one knows what they're going to be doing in 2 years' time. So you'll get halfway through a cycle with a company and they'll say, hey, have you got any more space? Well, no, you're completely surrounded, so then you've got a problem. So it's sometimes a bit of a trial and error. With the best will in the world, you might have done shows for years and years and years, but there's still something that comes up trumps, which you think, oh my God, how are we going to solve this problem? So yeah, there's always challenges, and the operations team, that's when they start to really show their expertise, because they can help and they can assist and they can sort of say, well, look, how about we swap that company round? Can we do that? So
I think this year, for 2024, one of the things that's interesting about it is it's the first one where COVID isn't involved with it in any way.
Yeah.
So you had 2020, and obviously in the 2020 show, it was in March, at the start of March, and lockdown was like, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, something like that.
Yeah.
And then when the 2022 show happened, it was really the tail end of it. It was still around. There was still a little bit of restriction in place, perhaps. But as now, it's not part of the conversation. It's going to be really interesting to see how many people turn up, the people that are there, the kind of products they're showing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we've had challenges with the snow. Even prior to the pandemic, and we kind of, as you pointed out, we kind of bookended both the beginning and the end of the pandemic with the show, which was ironic. There was a lot of people quite nervous out there at the time, just before we kicked off the last show, because of course no one had gone out anywhere, not even to a shopping centre. So it was a little bit challenging where you've got to pick up where you left off. But, hey, 2 years down the line, I mean, everything all appears to be back to how it was beforehand.
Well, look, let's kick off this bit. I think let's do the essentials, right, so everyone knows what we're talking about, because this is the information you want everyone to know. So let's start with that here. Give us the when, the where, and how do I get in?
Well, the when and where, obviously, it's the 3rd to the 6th of March, 2024. It's at the NEC Birmingham, halls 17 to 20. You can drive, you can get there by car, you can get there by train, you can even fly in if you're coming across from perhaps overseas. So it's weeks away now.
Yeah, all right, don't rub it in. So, and anyone can come. It's free to get a ticket, isn't it? And I think, I'm going to read this out, so don't forget, it's kbb.co.uk. That's as simple as that. You go on there, register your place, and you're in.
That's it, you're in.
Right, now, we need to deal with the elephant in the room a bit here. There isn't a literal elephant in the room, although you should get one. It would be a fantastic feature for the show. Anyway, there is an elephant in the room, and it is the state of the market. It's not great at the moment. It's all a bit subdued, should we say?
Yeah.
So why is it more important than ever when the market is like that to come to a show like KBB? Because it is a day, at least a day out of your time, and that day you might think is best spent in your showroom. But why is it so important to come when the market is that way?
It's an interesting question, and in fact, it depends where you sit in the marketplace as well. If you're a manufacturer and if you're from Europe, where a lot of investment is going into export overseas, particularly to the UK, it's one of the big hitter countries for them, then it's essential. And we've seen that's reflected across the vast parts of the floor plan where we've got a lot of European manufacturers. If you're a buyer or if you're someone coming to specify or to buy, of course, you're going to see a variety of things that you may not necessarily see in every single shop or retail unit or store or wholesaler or distributor. You won't necessarily see any of that new product. So it's essential for you to really come to the show to see what is out there, what is coming in that is new. And I think it's a peak time for the industry as well. They gear up to the early part of the KBB year to launch something. So, if you're a specifier or installer, or if you're a retailer, you want to see what's out there. And variety, I think, is what's going to help the high street as well. If you're an independent retailer, you want to be able to show something different to what they're showing up the road. Your competitor on the high street. You want to be able to show variety and something that is not really seen before. And this is very competitive now. It's a competitive marketplace, particularly in the kitchen industry, where KBB is representing the independent retailer, which is still, if you like, the area of growth in the UK. If you want to go out and buy an affordable kitchen, you can do that tomorrow easily. But if you do want something that looks a little bit more special, a little bit more personalised, something that gives you a little bit more personality to your home, then you're more likely to go to an independent retailer, and so it's essential to see what there is out there now and see what variety there is.
One of the things about a KBB show that I always like is it's the only real place where you get everything under one roof. So you can go and see appliances, you can go and see worktops, you can go and see furniture at the manufacturers, and some of them have fantastic facilities. But it's lots of different things all bolted together. Whereas in KBB, in half a day, you can see lots of different industries all in one place. Actually, there aren't many places you can do that in this sector.
There aren't, and you can see it's almost like transporting yourself to a big European trade fair for a day, because actually it does very much mirror what you would see in the European market. And so that I think is even more essential for anyone to think that actually they can just pop along to the NEC for a day. They don't have to spend too much time out of the office or out of their business. We realise that there is a lot of money to be had from immediate business that's happening, particularly if you're a retailer or a kitchen installer. There's a lot going on for you, and you want to be able to make all those deadlines that you've got with customers. So it isn't like having to get on a plane and you've got to spend a night away somewhere and two full days.
Plus, I think that variety is really important because, you can go and see worktops, you can go and see appliances, and they're great. But, there's all the other bits. There's the flooring, the lighting, all the bits that are on the edge of what a kitchen or bathroom project will include. And they're all there as well.
Absolutely. And worktops, for example, is another big area that it can change the look of your kitchen. And actually now a lot of these worktop manufacturers are having closer relationships with the kitchen furniture manufacturers as well, because they realise that having that closeness, they're able to look at something that's got a bit more personality to the kitchen, or it's got something different. So it's everything. And you have to be careful not to go too broad, obviously going into sort of sectors that perhaps don't have such a relevance. So you keep to those classic vertical sectors like lighting and worktops and components as well.
Now, the bit we haven't talked about is the other reason that people should go to this show, and that's just the face-to-face element of meeting lots of people in the same boat as you are. The people that you meet, the conversations that you have, you come away from this thing with a real gauge of how everyone else is doing, how the market is doing, how you're doing compared to the rest of the market. I think that's a really, really important part of a gathering like this. Yes, fantastic products and all that, but it's really, for me, it's the face-to-face bit of actually talking to people.
Yeah, it's the industry's networking event. I mean, it's set aside to people that actually want to do some business and sell some kitchens, sell some bathrooms. It is, a meeting point for, a lot of influential people and people that may have exhibited there once themselves, and they're coming back and they're wanting to have a little look around to see exactly how things are going now and to see whether they want to come back. We often get that, manufacturers walking around saying, well, actually, it's time for us to come back now. We've missed it for 2 or 3 years. We need to be back here.
And again, when the market's really subdued, I think the sort of positive mental attitude to the thing is really good. The idea that we are going to positively work our way out of this rather than just sort of sitting back and watching it all happen around you is a big part of it for me as well. If you're going to that show or you're exhibiting at that show, the fate of your business is in your own hands. You can do something about what's happening in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're a British manufacturer and you found it tough, but actually, the credibility of what we've got in Britain is fantastic. Delivery times can be far more quicker than perhaps European friends. There's a lot to be had out of being at the show and being amongst your audience and your potential customers and buyers.
Well, look, John, let's run through the details again. It's from the 3rd to the 6th of March. It's at the NEC in Birmingham. You can get all the details on how to book your place totally for free at kbbreview.co.uk. And I'm really looking forward to it. You never really know what's going on until you stand in a room full of people and actually just talk to them as they go past you. It is so important to actually shake hands and to meet and to get together, because this is a face-to-face industry, I think, at its heart.
And to see the product as well. The fact that we can do everything online these days is fantastic from certain points of view, but nothing is comparable to actually being there and seeing the quality of a product and asking a few questions, which you probably wouldn't get online. Online's great to a point, but I think, seeing that product, meeting those customers, meeting your suppliers, you just can't compare it to anything.
Well, I can't think of a better note to end it on than that, John. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in Birmingham.
Thank you, Andy.